ready. Yes. Got to get our mojo. Okay. Hi there. Welcome to podcast number 20. I'm Lisa.
And I'm Melissa.
And we're from Espace Tricot, a yarn store here in Montreal, Quebec, Canada.
Yes.
So we are here on we always say we shouldn't talk about the weather, but it seems like it's a favorite
I feel like it's something
topic
we need to do to get
ourselves going. We were trying to find another way to start and we couldn't. Plus Montreal, we always talk about the weather.
Yes. And actually, it's worth noting because we had such a glorious weekend. It was so warm and sunny. Well, actually, it was perfect. It was not humid. It was just a perfect summer weekend.
Yeah.
The first, and it's cold and rainy today. It's like
seriously
a total switch overnight.
We woke up. It was 11 degrees when we woke up this morning with rain and wind and all that.
We decided to wear our linen anyway.
We did because we have to.
We're not going back.
No, because seriously, once you start.
You can't go back to
You can't go back. You've got to encourage the good weather.
Exactly.
And I find like it's funny because usually there's always a time in the spring where you're like, okay, summer knitting starts.
Yeah.
And you feel it and everyone's like getting excited. And this year it's been really slow.
No, it's been really slow. It's like a winter project, summer project.
Yeah.
Winter, like I'm going back and forth between wool and linen projects.
I haven't even started my linen project. I have a linen project.
Oh, yeah?
And I'm like, okay, let me get going, but then I'm still working on wool projects.
What is the linen project you're going to do?
Well, that one I'm making a pattern. You know that lace stitch that I did?
Yes.
So I'm designing another.
Designing again.
I'm all into we're big time designers. So, but then I'm like,
we go from not calling ourselves designers to be like, we are big time designers now.
So it's like I have my linen, but I still feel that it's okay to knit wool. Usually by now we've transitioned.
Done. Yeah.
So we got to hop to it because it's short. And linen is great, like you know. Yeah,
I know, and really you should be knitting with your linen before the weather changes so that you've got it, right?
But you know, I always have that problem. I only start shopping for summer stuff when it's full blown and then there's nothing left.
I know, they're already bringing in the fall stuff. I know.
So let's talk about what we're wearing. You go first.
Okay, I am wearing my DESCHAIN. This is a pattern by Leila Raabe. I think that's how you say her name, Raabe. And I actually knit this last April when I went on that cruise with my mom. That was the project that I took, and it was I can't remember which size I knit, but I do know that I added, let's see if I can have to stand up on my stool. I did add an extra repeat here for a little extra length, and I'm trying to think if I made any adjustment. I might have knit the sleeves a little bit longer. But other than that, it was it's a very simple pattern. It's knit in pieces, so you knit the front, and the back is actually just plain. So there's just the lace panels on the front,
and then a little bit of variety.
And then I can't remember if you picked up the stitches and knit down, or if they were sewn on. Yeah, they were picked up and sewn down and knit down. So super simple, very, very quick because it's knit with Quince & Company's Kestrel yarn, which is a chunky linen. So on a big needle,
and it's nice because you have kind of the weight, but you have the lightness of the linen.
Right, so it just has that drape and it's just easy wear. Throw on everything. I just throw it over tunics and t-shirts and that kind of thing, and
good to go.
Good to go.
And your notes are on Ravelry. So
yes, all my notes are on Ravelry. Any modifications, exactly. All our projects are on Ravelry, whether they're store samples or knit for us personally. Yeah. So
they're all there, and I'm actually wearing Kestrel as well. Right? So your color is ash, and my color is pebble, and it's in Kestrel, and it's by Pam Allen, I believe. Yes, it's by Pam Allen, and again, it's pretty easy.
I know it's funny. They're like very boxy, these sweaters, right?
They're boxy. So how it's in the I can't remember. It was last year. So it's knit in the round from the bottom to the top. And then what you do is you leave an opening for the arm, and then you keep going.
So you split for your front and back.
Yeah, you split for your front, and then you go front back, and then you do a 3-needle bind off here on the sleeve. Super simple, boxy. I don't know. Maybe I can stand up here and just like really kind of loose. Really loose and easy to wear. And the only thing I found with this pattern that I had to change was that the armhole was very short. Oh. So the idea, it has stretched actually since I knit it. When I first put it on, it was quite tight, and now it's stretched over time, as does linen. So what I would do is I put my mods on Ravelry as well. When I got to here, say, I can't remember how many inches, but say it said 6 inches, I stopped maybe at 8 inches. So just to have the opening a bit bigger, and then I added, then I picked up a few more stitches. So my mods are on, and that was important because I think the idea for this top, when you look at the picture, is the sleeves are quite tight. light,
Right.
and the body is boxy. So that's sort of the look.
Yeah.
I felt it
It's
was
like
a
the
bit,
boxy sweater by Joji Locatelli, or
that was that
all those-
look.
that line.
I
Yeah.
felt it was a bit too small for me, but I have to say it has stretched, because when I
And
first
maybe
knitted,
that's
it was
something
tight.
to keep in mind.
Yeah, so maybe you
don't make it too big.
Exactly. So that's what I'm wearing, and super simple.
I'm wondering. It's funny
cozy.
that when you say, and I do that with the Hayward. So this is actually knit in pieces, and maybe having that seam on the side gives it a little bit of structure that it wouldn't necessarily have. But it is something that you could convert to knitting in the round.
This one.
This one.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just
same
remembering
idea
that
as
you've
this
got
one.
yeah. Exactly.
Just with your.
And that might make it more appealing to some people.
Yeah.
you
And one
know,
thing
but-
too is sometimes when I find my linen stretches a bit, and I just throw it in the dryer and it tightens it up.
Yeah.
And then it finds its natural shape after. And I always like 3/4 sleeves in the summer. I
Yeah.
don't know about you,
Yeah.
but for me 3/4 sleeves are really nice.
Very comfortable.
So yeah, so I'm feeling summery in my linen.
Yes.
So that's what we're wearing.
Very good. And 11 degrees. Who cares? I even wore sandals.
You
Well, can't
did.
see, I wore sandals.
And I wore rain boots.
You wore rain boots.
But I did
Clever.
wear a little scarf here with my linen.
Oh, did
top.
you? I did put on my puffer coat over my linen top.
Ridiculous.
I know.
Ridiculous. So we wanted to talk about I guess moving into our finished objects.
Yeah.
And why don't you go ahead, Melissa, your Japanese tote bag. You can even
Okay, so you guys, I've talked about this or mentioned it, photographed it, Instagrammed it a lot, and I know people are waiting for the kits that I promised, and we are in the process of making them.
They just arrived. The handles just arrived.
So first we were waiting for the yarn, and the yarn was back ordered. Then we were waiting for the handles, and the first batch of handles just arrived this morning. This is the knitted Japanese tote by, I should talk about who
the designer.
It's by Katie Kissel of Ray and Jean, I believe. And she very kindly agreed to let us make kits and include the patterns. So the pattern originally called for one skein of the Bernat cotton, and that was only enough to do about 2/3 of the bag, maybe a little bit more than 2/3.
And you
but
were
I
on
wouldn't
gauge.
have had I was on gauge. Well, no, I shouldn't say that. My bag is about an inch narrower, so the dimensions of the finished bag, or at least of the initial rectangle that you were supposed to do in the original pattern, is 12 inches by 36 inches. So this is just, it's so simple, you guys. It's just a knit rectangle that Katie just shows you how to fold so that you get that. It's just an origami fold, and then you sew up your seams just with a running stitch. And
yes, you get that nice kind of seam there.
So I was a little bit tighter than gauge as usual. So mine was 11 inches wide, and so the rule of thumb for this is it's only going to work if your length is 3 times your width. So mine was 11 by 33 in the end. Whoops, I caught. And so my bag is maybe a little bit smaller than it's meant to be, but I still find it's a good size.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's going to stretch also with you. So
I think I was just I had just started this on the last podcast. And then what I did was I took these great leather handles from Jewel Designs, and they are these screw-on ones. So you just undo these, and you can pop them on and off if you want to wash your bag, if you want to take your handle and put it on another bag. And then I made the tassel. So I think,
was that included in the pattern? The tassel?
No,
you added that.
Yes, but
your design element.
Well, no, I'm sorry. She had a picture of a tassel on the bag, but she had picked it up somewhere.
Oh, okay.
And so I just replicated. I just made a tassel and then added a couple of beads that we had in the store, and tied it around the bottom.
Again.
So the kits should be online by the time this podcast airs, I think.
We see that all
at least
the time,
the first batch.
Pretty good.
Yeah, we've been pretty good. And I love it. It's so easy to fill up and wear. It holds everything you need just to run out.
And so stylish.
And it is quite stylish, I think. So
we never know you made it.
Yeah. Well, you might.
No, it looks so professional. I mean, that's terrible. I shouldn't say that.
But that's one of those projects that's a total win, right?
Yeah,
so
exactly.
It's simple, but it looks
high impact.
Impressive, right?
High impact. That's what we're all about. Simple with high impact.
Exactly.
So for me, I finally finished the EVEIL, sewed in my ends. It's all done. The pattern is, we should get it back from translation today. So this is my original one that I did in a Mayak fingering weight cashmere. And we had Françoise redo it in Julie Asselin Fino. So here.
This is so pretty. Look at this color.
So hopefully you can see the little texture. And so this is color Brume. By Julie Asselin. And the reason I called it EVEIL because at first, I had this idea that there were little seeds and it was burgeoning and coming into spring. And then also the fact that I, pulled the night gun, right?
It was going to be Nuit Blanche or
Nuit
something,
Blanche,
right?
But then there were other patterns called Nuit Blanche. So I said it was like an awakening, morning, awakening, springtime seeds, burgeoning. So I decided to call it EVEIL. So it's like a awakening.
I thought it was a good name. It's sort of like the beginning of your claiming your life as a designer.
Yes, I think that's a good point because actually this took a little bit more math. And then,
right?
It did. And then I had Françoise knit it and following my pattern and she found a few errors that I had to correct. But I have to say I didn't chart it because I could the software? The software I need to sit down and really analyze it and figure out how the software works. And I just wanted to get the pattern out there. Okay. So we have the software. We purchased it. So hopefully we'll get there eventually. But it's kind of fun.
I haven't looked at it yet.
I like
really,
charts.
Yeah, it's not that intuitive, right?
It just wasn't intuitive at the beginning, but I'm not used to using that kind of software as well. So whether it's me or the software. So I think once you understand how to do it, like I managed to do a couple of things, but then I was getting frustrated and I said, listen, it's not worth it right now. I had all the instructions written out, but it's something that I'd like to go forward and do.
And it's simple enough that written out is not.
Yeah, exactly. So this is kind of like, it's sort of like a nice fun. Kind of nice,
simple,
easy,
so pretty.
Kind of simple.
Very sophisticated.
Yeah. And it took 2 skeins of Julie Asselin Fino, but you can pretty much do it in any fingering weight yarn. It's 690 meters that it took, so pretty much any two
skeins of any fingering
weight yarn should work. So, and like I said, I did one in cashmere, and then with Maya cashmere, and I did one in the Fino. So that's my finished object.
Okay, so the next one, I have to talk about my Hayward.
Confession time. What did you call it? What did you say? It was going to be no, but you said something. It's going to be
it's going to be a constructive learning experience,
yes,
right?
For all of us.
Okay, I love my Hayward. I've knit the Hayward in loft twice. It's a wool yarn, and that's what it's designed with. And I decided that I love the shape of the sweater so much that it would be lovely to have for the summer. So here it is.
And it is lovely.
It is. It's gorgeous, actually.
The color is amazing.
The color is amazing. The style is still beautiful in the linen. However, linen behaves differently than wool. And what I did was I got gauge, but I took the way that I knit my original wool ones and I applied it directly to the way that to the knitting up of the linen ones. So I think on my original wool ones I may have added a little bit of length before the split for the sleeves, and I definitely added some rows on the sleeve as well. This one I even added more, and I don't know what I was thinking. I just was not taking into account.
Clearly you weren't thinking.
I wasn't thinking because I work with linen a lot.
I know, that's the ridiculousness.
Behaves, right?
We had this firefly tunic that I knit up.
Right.
And it was
like the same issue.
I had my sleeves were 4 inches too long. I had to have somebody cut it and then
That's right, because they were knit from the bottom up, right?
It was terrible.
Yeah,
so it's like we've had the experience.
We know. Exactly. We know. And so I put it on
just to show you we ain't perfect.
We're not perfect by any stretch. So I put it on last night. I sewed it all up. I steamed it and I put it on, and the sleeves were down to here. And they're supposed to be 3/4 length sleeve. And I did add, like I said, on my original ones, I did add a little bit of length. But these were it all just pulled down. So I do not think it was a bad idea to do this project with the linen. What I will say is that if you're going to do it, and I still really, really strongly recommend it as a yarn for it, is just to take into account how linen is going to behave and make sure that you're not adding any extra length somewhere. In fact, you might want to take off an inch or so at the various spots where you can. What I do now is, what I try to remember to do is that I always stop 3 to 4 inches before I'm supposed to, and I block it. Well, and I did that as I went, but it's when it's finished, it's got all that weight, right? It's going to a new home. That's what I always say. When I make something that doesn't fit, I just find a home. So I love it, and part of me was, it's beautiful, it's drapey, and it looked nice, but it really just looks too big.
Yeah, because there's
and I don't mind wearing oversized
because you always
stuff.
wear oversized.
But it just it's big in the wrong way. So.
But that's an important lesson because, like, knitting, that's what knitting is. And we found a lot.
But I was so excited.
I know.
I was talking about it a lot on Instagram, and I was on such a roll, and I was really working to get it done. And I can't tell you my disappointment last night when I put it on. I was like, oh no.
I know. I got the text like at midnight.
Yeah, right.
I can't
even wear my Hayward.
But you know, you know, when we opened the store, there were so many people who, you know, wanted to know exactly what things were going to look like. And there was you never know. And the more you knit, the more experience you have. So you kind of get an idea, but you still have times where it's a fail. It's a knitting fail.
And now it's not a total knitting fail because you're going to look beautiful on somebody.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
And
someone's going to be grateful.
Someone will be grateful. It'll be here and it will find a new home.
Yeah.
But it just is not, unfortunately, going to come home with me.
You'll just have to knit another one.
I would consider it, except that I think I need to take a break from the Hayward for a while and knit something else. I need some new sweaters. Exactly. Yeah, I need a new knitting experience, a corrective, emotional knitting experience now.
A quick fix, basically.
Yeah. So.
Okay. So there we go.
Yeah.
So that didn't work
out. Let's move on.
So
then
we'll move on. So I designed a few years ago a little scarf called Le Petit Parisien, and the idea was just like a little neckerchief that sometimes, you know, when you're you can like put on your bag, and then when you go into a grocery store and it's cold, you can just like throw it over you, like sort of like a little thing. Or so. Anyways, I did it in a habu. The silk habu, and we don't carry that anymore. So I was like, oh, we could do it in the kestrel. Yeah. So the reason I called it a Petit Parisien, because I was inspired by the Parisian women who wear like little scarves, you know, and they have like the little knots.
They just throw.
Yeah, and they just throw it, and they just throw it over their shoulder. I need Melissa. Yeah. So it's kind of like a little, and then you can like double knot it, and you can have it close, or you can wear it like a bandana.
And it just gives you a little bit of coverage too.
Yeah, and it's amazing how it just, it can just give you a little bit of coverage or a little warmth around your neck. Yeah. You can wear it as a bandana, or you can wear it.
Or it's just for the color. You know, to add a little color to whatever you're wearing.
Exactly, and then you can put it on your bag and have it like a bandeau for those of you into like fancy scarves on your bags. So so it's just like it took 2 skeins of kestrel.
I was going to say, was it 1 or 2?
2 skeins of kestrel because it's 50 grams.
Yeah.
And I just wanted to give you sort of a close up of what kestrel looks like, in terms of it's I guess what would you call that? Like a chainette? I guess it's a chainette, eh? So. And it's it's very hard to find a thicker linen or a thicker cotton. So it's thick, but it has a nice structure to it.
It's a 14 stitch gauge, this one, I think.
It's one of the only linens that
between 14 and 16.
So it gives you a little, it's easier because you can do things at a thicker gauge and you don't necessarily have to wear a shirt underneath or something. So so it's really pretty. So that's called the Petit Parisien. It's a free Espace Tricot pattern available from Ravelry, and 2 skeins of kestrel. So I thought that was a fun little summer knit. So that's what we did. Though Chloe knit it for me. I said it's a finished object. Chloe's the one who knit it up for us. And we have quite a few store samples. So at the beginning of every season, like we've talked about before, we get our staff to knit up samples. So we have quite a few that came in, and some of them are repeats, and some of them are ones that we've had. So why don't we talk about the Tegna that Amelia knit for? I guess we're into like a pinky,
there's a theme going on, right? So there's sort of lavender, gray lavender. This is called Lady Gray, I think, the color,
Yes,
right?
it is. By Sweet Georgia.
So that's called the Tegna. This pattern has been around on social media and Ravelry, and everybody's knitting it.
It's still hot right now.
Since last summer.
In every fabric, in every yarn.
Yeah. So it is a pattern by Caitlin Hunter, the ever popular Caitlin Hunter, and it's just a beautiful. Again, it's a bottom up design. I don't want to. I'm going to hold it in front of you, Lise. A bottom up design, and so you get your lace done right away. It's knit in the round, and then it's just knit up to the shoulders. There's a lot of it's very similar construction to the ones we're wearing, right? So you knit up to your sleeve, and then you split for your front and back. I believe there's some short row shaping for your slope in your shoulders, and then you come and you pick up and knit your little sleeves. So very simple. Like once you've passed your lace, it's a super simple.
It's I'm just realizing how a lot of these little summer tops are just a very simple knit.
Very, very simple, and it's really about the fabric and the drape.
Yes.
And this one is actually knit with Sweet Georgia flaxen, which is a beautiful blend of linen and silk from
Sweet Georgia. And this is a fun one.
Oh, this is great.
So this is called the Ombre Tank, and Mona designed this for us a few years ago.
The press.
It was so popular. It was hilarious. We had, remember Stephanie and Christina and Joan? There were a whole bunch of ladies. I think there were 5 or 6.
I just had the original.
5 or 6 of them. They all knit this, different body shapes, different ages, and they went on a weekend somewhere and they all had the same. They went out for dinner, I think. It was hilarious.
So this was the original knit with Habu Tsumugi silk.
Well, we still do have some Tsumugi, but we don't have these colors. It was such a popular pattern and very flattering. Like the shape, I can't tell you, we saw it, like I said, different ages, different body shapes.
Yeah.
It looked amazing on
everybody.
Every single person because of the A-line shape.
Yeah.
So Mona did a really nice job designing that for us.
So it did require a slight reworking of the pattern, but the new pattern, the revised pattern should be, just because the gauge was a little bit smaller with this yarn.
So if you want to do in the Tsumugi silk or a thicker yarn, you can go to the original, and then this one is a redux of that one.
So this is just, it's fun. It's just 3 colors of the cream, the mustard, and the pink, and then you're carrying 2 strands together, so you get that transition in between the colorways. Again, knit from the bottom up in the round, right? With some decreases up to the shoulders and split for front and back. It's just so simple.
Yeah, really fun.
Summer knitting is nice, right? For that, it's just not a lot to have to think about. No. And that's just perfect projects for the summer, really.
Okay, so now we have 2 more store samples. We have the banana leaf. So this one, we actually saw a lady come into the store and she was wearing the banana leaf. And this was a pattern that I had been eyeing for a long time. And then when she came in, I'm like, oh my God, you knit. She goes, I love it, I love it, I love it.
It's so great.
So we're like, okay, let's get that.
It turned out beautifully. So
it's hard to see the...
I know.
Maybe we can hold it up.
You see all the spines? And that's just a switch from stockinette to reverse stockinette all the way along with the center spine. But it just really does.
And then the bottom is really cute the way it...
Yeah, so you've got a point on that end and a point on this end.
And what's nice is it's a long rectangular wrap.
Yeah.
So you can really use it as a scarf or wrap it around your shoulders. I mean,
this is so elegant. This one was knit with our Petit Lin, which is the lace weight version of our Espace Tricot linen. And this one was single-stranded, so...
Exactly, like for a nice, like an elegant. It's nice to have your hand knit when you're going to like a summer wedding or a summer party.
Can you imagine?
Yeah.
And this is, I mean, it just looks beautiful on it. It looks beautiful as a shawl and then also just as a very chic scarf around your neck. Yeah.
So that's...
So that was a good one. Yeah. And that was knit for us by Naomi, who is here briefly on her...
We have no shame, eh? Naomi came for like a little holiday from Scotland and we're like, you're here for a month. Would you like to knit for us?
Yes.
We know how to pick our
She's fast.
So she was so excited. She did it for us and knit it for us and dropped it off just before she went back home. So we're really happy about that.
Oh, and then the Grenada.
Yeah. So this one was dropped off just this morning.
Yeah. So this was knit for us by Emma. And this is actually knit with the... Do you want to maybe hold some of those up, please? Whoops. This is a yarn from Barocco called Mykonos, which is it's a beautiful... What's the exact composition?
Okay, so the exact composition is 66% linen, 8% cotton, and 26% nylon.
Okay. So it has that very cool, I would say cold. Like when you feel it, it feels very cool to the touch.
Last summer when I was, I knit Life is Cozy. Life is Cozy is the designer. Remember the one I knit on the black one?
The black shawl. I don't remember
Stormy. I should look that up.
Yeah.
So I knit that up in the Lang Philo because I bought it in Europe. But this would be perfect for that. I really love that shawl. Actually, that black shawl is my wedding shawl. When I go to weddings and I'm wearing a black dress, even if it's winter, I wear it because it's so elegant. And this, if I would have had this one. Life is Cozy. Sorry, that was a mistake.
Did we say who this was by? This is by Amy Christoffers.
I know we're getting sidetracked here. Sorry,
but that's okay. It's a very, very simple construction. Again, it's cast on at the bottom, and then it's just worked in a series of decreases.
The shininess. So it has a nice shine. It's sort of like a silky. Silky.
So and it fits perfectly on the shoulders.
Do you want to put it on? Or do you want me to put it on?
Yeah, it's a perfect. So I was wearing one of my white linen tunics yesterday, and and I had my.
Yeah, I saw you Instagrammed it.
Trimont Snood. So and the Trimont Snood is perfect. It's beautiful, but what I like about this one too is it just has a slightly higher neck.
Yes.
So if you want a little bit more coverage on your neck,
the texture is great. You know, it's
gorgeous.
It's a cool feeling, like
and
you
it's
said.
kind of cool because what I think would be nice would be like the denim. You know, to do one on denim.
That would be really. Oh yeah, with like a white
in
dress.
The summer. Yeah.
And I have to say, I like the increase, like the line.
Yeah.
Like there.
It's really pretty.
I'm like,
this is one of those sleeper projects we do. We're like, let's do that as a sample. I think it'll be nice. But then when it comes in, it's just this is really nice, and we want one.
I really like this.
Yeah.
So who knows? I was like, I might want to come with it. So this was the other one. It's called Stormy Cloud. Stormy Sky Shawl. I'm really butchering this. Stormy Sky Shawl, and it's by Life is Cozy, and I knit it in black. But I would really do that one in this one.
Yeah.
Seriously, I would do one. Maybe I'd do a white one.
Okay, so those are all new store samples. So the next group of samples we're going to talk about are just summer samples that we've had in the store for maybe a year, maybe 2 years, maybe longer.
It's amazing the wealth of samples we have.
We have so many. Okay, so here's another one in Kestrel.
Oh, look at this color.
It look familiar? It's
different.
Gorgeous. Come on.
No, this is light. Look, this is hyacinth.
Oh, okay. What's this one? Do you remember?
This one is dark.
This is Minos.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay, so this is really fun because it's knit on a super big needle, 9mm needle, and really, it's a rectangle. So it's a rectangle with your sleeves, holes created for your sleeves.
Coco Knits had one similar that we did also. I forget what it was called, but we've... It's like when you go to those, amusement parks.
And then it just makes this fabulous vest to just throw over your t-shirts and tanks and stuff.
Because you know what?
Little camouflage.
Exactly. Sometimes I'm not ready to expose myself.
Exactly. But you just throw this over a nice little t-shirt or something, and
you're good to go.
You're good to go. So really pretty. And I'm not sure how many skeins this took. I think it might have been
a bunch.
Did it?
No, more than one.
5. Yeah,
that was a bunch.
Skeins. Yeah,
I think that qualifies as a bunch.
That's a bunch.
So we have that and the sweet pleats. So somebody said to us on our social media that you're always showing women's samples.
And not a lot of kids samples. You know, it's funny because when we first opened, we have lots of, we should do a whole thing on kids samples because we do have tons of kids samples, but we haven't knit kids samples. Like we did a lot when we first opened, first couple of years, and we still sell for those ones all the time.
Because they're classic. Kids samples are classic.
More.
So we just...
This is 3 skeins of Kestrel again.
Do we have the size on that one?
This one is the 12-month size. And so it's a little dress. It's called the Sweet Pleat. And I think it was it by...
Hannah Fettig, I think.
Hannah Fettig, okay. Just have a little sweet pleat right at the top.
And this is one we've done in other yarns that we carried. Remember we did in that Broco Lindsay and cotton. So that's a good one. So that's our one kid sample.
For today. We will do a...
We will make an effort to add more
and
to
incorporate them in what we show.
Yeah. Then we wanted to show you Shibui Twig and Reed because those are 2 really nice yarns, and Twig is one of my favorite yarns because if you remember from the Sylph, I really like a nice structure. So this is actually the Slope.
Yep.
And that's a nice tank, but it has a little more coverage than our ombre tank, and it's shorter in the front and longer in the bottom.
It does it still has a wide arm hole, so you might want you'll definitely want to wear something underneath it, but it does have that sort of very chic.
Or like now they have these fancy bras that are like, they're called bralettes.
Yeah, so they're kind of just pretty bras, right?
So you can wear that underneath.
And just love that high-low.
Very cool look. So this is a cardigan. I did this last year. You might have remembered it from last year. It's in the color Field, and it's a cardigan. It's called the Simplicity Cardigan by Mary Annarella, and I did it actually before in another sport weight yarn, the Mano Serena, which I think might be discontinued now.
Oh yeah, that beautiful.
Yeah, the cotton wool one. Yeah. So this is another cardigan that you can that you can use many different yarns. And what I liked about this one is I learned how to do a lifted increase. So at first I was a bit intimidated. The lifted increase is, I don't know if you can see, it's here. And I really enjoyed that increase. I felt so smart after that I added something new to my repertoire.
To your skill.
Yeah, so I really like that one. And this one is meant to not close. It's just meant to hang and give you, just like the vested interest, just to give you a little bit of coverage, cover your shoulders, give you a nice little coverage and some warmth.
Okay, so this one is also done with curls.
And this is just a little scarf, and this is that look, you know, when you're wearing a linen tunic or linen pants.
Yes, and you just want a skinny, and that's why the rolling is not an issue on this. This is great.
Just looks so stylish.
So this is the twig in the apple colorway.
Yeah. And see, it has a little bit, because it's wool and linen, you see it has a little bit of white. It has a little bit of
it has like a bit of a heathered look.
Yes.
And very, very simple stockinette with drop stitches.
Like, how elegant is that?
Exactly.
Like, picture a nice linen outfit wrapped around, running along the beach. I seem to have that image a lot in my head.
I know.
But I'm going to the desert.
It's like the people we want to be, right?
Well, I'm going to the Maritimes this summer, so maybe I'll take a picture of myself on Prince Edward Island running along the beach.
Are you? I didn't know that.
Well, yeah, we just decided.
I know, that's where we're thinking of going too.
Because Sean is there on business, so we're going to combine.
Nice.
Yeah. So this is on the beach. See, there you go.
There you go. Exactly.
So we just wanted, we should say though that Shibui reformulated their linen, right?
Yes. So this was this pattern was one I knit again years ago. It's Isabell Kraemer's On the Beach, and it was a great pattern because it was a top down, but it looks like it has set-in sleeves.
And it actually, the original pattern had stripes on it, I think. If you look at it was white and like a rust color.
Okay.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't remember. So it sort of had this, it was constructed, I think they're called contiguous set-in sleeves. So you knit from the top down, but it's not a raglan, which was kind of, it was my first time doing it. And I thought it was simple and an interesting construction. So it was a good thing to add to my skill set at the time as well. And I did knit it in the Shibui linen at the time, which has been reformulated and is now just called Shibui Reed. So it's much softer than
it's the same. It's the same construction. It's a chainette
construction, everything. So they're interchangeable with anything that was knit with the linen,
which is nice. You know, it's so nice that I don't know if you can see the chainette. So what's nice is that, you know, they reformulated it, but they kept it the same gauge and the same chainette construction. Yeah. So the effect will be the same. It's just that the other linen had a bit crunchier. Yeah. It was a bit crunchier.
It did get soft because this is a few years old, and this is quite soft. I would be hard-pressed to say whether or not it was reed or linen.
Oh, interesting, over time.
But this one is just immediately
So maybe that's what they did.
Soft.
Maybe they pre-washed it to make it. Sometimes they do that.
Yeah.
Like with the Lux, remember the hemp Lux?
Exactly.
So could be that. And then we also have the spring lace infinity.
Oh, yeah. You want to talk about that one?
COWL. So this is another one. This is another summer scarf, because we like to have things around our necks, us knitters, even in the summer. Especially I'm like a broken record, especially with air conditioning. So it's called, I should get this proper. So
Spring Lace Infinity Scarf
by Linda Thach. And that's a nice fun color.
Again, this one was originally done in the linen, so it has a bit of a crunchy feel.
Yeah, you do, because this one isn't as old as the other one.
Exactly, but so it would work perfectly well in the reed.
Super nice.
Okay. Was that? We are just motoring through our samples. We actually cut out a whole bunch this morning because I
feel like an infomercial. Okay, moving right along. But you know what? That's what summer is. You want to see all the nice options out there.
I just want to inspire you, because everyone's in their decision-making process about what to knit, and sometimes you don't want to knit a lot of things for this.
No, you want to target things, and
you want to have a few targeted things to add to your wardrobe.
Knitting was just wool and like acrylics, and not in the summer. So now it's like it's all year round. We want to get people into that. Okay, we wanted to talk about some handmaiden. So we have handmaiden, a really nice yarn, a lino and a handmaiden silk. So we wanted to show you some simple one-off projects. Aimless here, like we'll start with the silk. So this can be done it's a fingering weight silk, whether it's handmaiden sea silk or handmaiden Swiss mountain silk.
And this one was called the Holden Shawlette. And it was by Mindy Wilkes, and this was one that was very popular when we first opened. I did a couple of them. This one a couple of times.
We did a green. It was funny.
I did one in the green, sort of it was a cashmere.
It was the
silk?
Swiss mountain cashmere.
Yes, it was cashmere and silk. And then this one was I think this was just the
silk.
The silk or the sea
This
silk?
one was the sea silk. Yeah. In any case, any fingering weight.
Any fingering weight, silk. This one was the sea silk. Yeah. In any case, any fingering weight, 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 silk. one skein.
I mean, you could even do it in linen if you wanted, but just to show you
yeah.
that the silk gives it a nice silky texture.
I can't remember what the yardage was because I want to say any single skein, but
It's 400 meters for one skein of handmade in silk.
Okay, so perfect. So if you've got 400 meters of any yarn in your stash, then you can do this cute little... And it's a similar shape to the one you just designed, right? Like it's just a nice one to wear around your neck.
And it's a little more fancy, you know, gives you a little more femininity.
I think that was one of my first lace projects, actually.
Oh, yeah?
Like, yeah.
It's nice. It's a pretty lace.
It's very simple.
It's simple and
It's
pretty.
a simple lace. If you haven't done lace, I would recommend that as a first.
So this is again done in silk. We have another one which we couldn't find, which we did in a solid. And we just wanted to show that if you wanted to use a variegated colorway, doing a simple pattern like this allows you to still see the pattern and also get to use a variegated yarn if you don't want just to use a solid color. But we've also done it in solid.
Yeah, we just couldn't find it this morning. It's called the Botanical Cowl, and it's by
Megan Goodacre. And actually, this didn't take the full skein. So when we did the second one, we said just go until there's nothing left. So you can just, it's again, one
4
skein.
4mm needle, so it's a nice open gauge on with a fingering weight.
400 meters.
Yeah,
And just go for it.
Exactly. So nice ways to add a little bit of color.
And then here, yes, we're not adding color here. So this is
was pretty. This was a Church Mouse Yarns pattern, right?
This is another one we've done in different yarns. We did it in a linen and cotton, and this is done with the lino. So I just before that, Melissa, I had brought some. Where's the silks that I brought? Got all my here. I just wanted to show you. So this is some colors we have of the Swiss silk. So really a beautiful shine. And sometimes, you know, because silk is a little pricier, sometimes it's nice to just have a one skein project.
Yeah.
So the lino is a linen silk.
Again.
On the beach.
Exactly.
Actually goes well with your ash.
There we go.
So here's, this is a thinner yarn. It's more of a lace weight, I would say. And because you have the linen, you have a little bit of that heather look as well, like with the twig. And so this is really... a nice little structured.
Yeah, and you can wrap it a whole bunch of times and then tie it.
Look at how elegant you are, madame. So it's interesting. The silk has more shine, obviously. So that has a bit more of an elegant feel.
Yeah.
With the linen, it brings it down to make it a little bit more casual. You know, not as shiny.
I agree. So it's kind of a rustic elegance.
Yeah.
Okay, so is that it for?
So I think that was it for our handmade. Oh yeah, the Amelia poncho. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think this is the last sample that we
Emilia.
wanted to
I keep calling it Amelia, but it's
Emilia. And this is just knit as a big rectangle. It's a little bit like the Easy Folded Poncho by Church Mouse Yarns, which is knit in a folded, knit in a large rectangle, which is then folded, and then you just sew up one seam and leave a hole.
And we caught on to this because Françoise had done it personally for herself, and she came in wearing it, and we're like, oh my God, that's great.
Yes, we need to do that.
Sample.
This is not done with our Espace Tricot Petit Lin Plus, which is our sport weight linen, 100% linen. Beautiful drape. I mean, this yarn is just, in terms of it just has that cool texture. It's a wet spun linen, so it's not hairy, and it just, linen has that weight and that drape that you can't replicate in any other yarn.
No,
you can't.
I mean, when we first discovered it, we really got behind it right away. We were like, yeah, this is a linen that, because we have quite a lot of experience with linen.
Yeah.
And so it has that softness and drape, yet the structure and the tightness. So it kind of checked all of our boxes. Oh, and then there's this one, the wrapped in lino. Oh my God.
Oh yeah.
This was like my European road trip shawl from a couple of years. Last year. No, it took me 2 summers.
Well, that always happens, right? Your road trip shawl took 2 summers.
So it's kind of like the European road trip. It's a parallelogram, except I did this one with short rows, and I did this with lino, 2 skeins of the lino.
Yeah, it's almost exactly the same in terms of just the points are created with a different technique.
I decided to not do short rows in case some people were intimidated by short rows. So I use, so again.
But this pattern is also on Ravelry.
Yeah, free Espace Tricot pattern, and it's lace weight. And I decided to do it in the lino. And this is,
It was 2 skeins?
2 skeins, and it's 800, I think it's 800 meters a skein.
I know, it's like a kilometer and
Oh my
a half.
God, it was like a labor.
One.
And I actually, you know what was ridiculous? It's 800 meters.
Yeah.
I actually had to pick back because I had done too much to do my...
to get your decreases?
Yeah, because I wanted to maximize my yarn. So That's why I called it wrapped in lino, because it's like
it is really long.
But if you really want something that's just like super cozy, throw on you, wrap yourself around. Vas-y fort. So now we have some works in progress, madame.
All right.
Boho blush.
So I finished my Hayward on Saturday, and I was just so happy to work.
So gratifying.
Pull out some of the projects that I had I had been working on before. I say some of the projects. The one project that I had been, because I don't think I have anything else on the.
Good for you on the needles.
On the needles, I have so many things I want to cast on. Like at least if I could cast on everything.
Well, you know what I know.
So like
I made a list.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay.
I think that's why I don't have things cast on, because I can't decide.
Yeah. Me too.
And
also we just got all the yarn for our winter samples, but who wants to knit with Lopi now?
Well, I kind of do.
I know. I'm bringing my yarn home today.
I know.
Because I'm like, Lopi's fast.
Anyway, so I had been working on and I'm in the middle of a row. That's stupid, actually. But I'm not undoing it because it's it's brioche. I am working on my boho blush by Andrea Mowry in the Julien Slin Fino in the Adelaide colorway. I love it so much. I just think it's a beautiful marriage of pattern and yarn, and it's going. I'm still on the first skein, and it's going to take me 3, or maybe 2.5. So it's going to be huge.
Yeah, it's going to be. Well, it looks big on the pattern.
It does. There's just a picture of Andrea wearing it. So I can't wait to have this. See, you can see how big it is there, and it's going to be. And I guess a lot of yarn goes in the fringe.
Yeah. I mean, that's half a ball.
Right there. Okay, so I don't need to knit to the end of 3 balls. Thank Gott sei Dank, as they say.
What I hate about these shawls is like it's so fast at the beginning because it's small, right? And then you're all excited, and then at the end you're like, it's like the hipster.
Yeah.
By the last section, I was like, oh my god, I can't do it.
What I will say about this shawl is it's a really nice combination of garter, and then you've got your brioche, and then you've got garter again, and then you've got sort of a feather and fan lace pattern, and then you've got garter, and so it keeps alternating, which keeps it interesting. And so just when it's getting a little boring, maybe you get to switch up. And it's also a beautiful introduction to brioche if you've never done it before, because it's just 8 rows or 9 rows of it or something at a time. And it's one color brioche, and I find it fairly well explained. So you really sort of begin to understand the structure of a brioche stitch with the sort of stitches with the little overcoat, as Stephen West calls them, I think. And so you understand how it functions, and so you're less afraid of making a mistake. I mean, I have done brioche before in a Stephen West shawl, I think.
Yeah.
And I was afraid of making a mistake. In fact, I think I did make a mistake, and then I had to pull back, because it is difficult to fix your mistakes in brioche. But doing it in this one, I'm finding, and I think it was because it was also 2-color. My first time doing it was 2-color. And I mean, brioche is not... It's not really something to be afraid of. I know it sort of gets built up into this stitch that, people have to build themselves up to, but it's pretty straightforward. I
mean, if you do it in a small section like that, I think. And
so this is always perfect. And even if you do, like, put in your lifeline.
Yeah, I was just going to say, put in your lifeline before you start, and then you don't have to
if you do have to pull back, it's not such a big deal.
That's, when you said about the knitting truth, there was that thing. I can't tell you how many times I've told people to put in a lifeline. I have never
You've
used a
never
lifeline.
done it?
Ever.
I think I only did it when I was...
Ever.
Oh, I know when I did it. The very first lace project I did, Jared
the
Flood,
Celis.
The Celis. I did use lifelines in that one. And,
No,
and it was good.
I should use it. I'm not saying I shouldn't, because trust me, j'ai sacré sur quelques patrons. However, I don't know. It's one of those things.
Yeah.
Do as I say.
Right.
Not as I do.
Well, it's like these, Lise.
Yeah.
You
better swatch. Okay, so I'm doing everybody saw I'm back on my my second avenue. So I'm motoring along, having fun. I had just been, before I broke my wrist, I was here. So I've knit all this and this, and now I'm here.
It's heavy, eh?
Yeah, it is quite, because I guess it's like cashmere, silk, merino. So I'm doing the this darker color, and then after that, my last section is going to be striping these two together.
Oh, wow.
So I'm taking back the what's on the border.
Yeah.
And then I'm taking back this one.
What color is that?
So this is brume, but it's a little grayer than the other brume that we had. So I'm using 3 yarns. So this is Manos del Uruguay Fino. This is all fingering weight, and it's the Fascinator color. It's also similar. Madeline Tosh has a bright pink like this. So it's a single ply Fascinator. So that's the edge. Then over here, this color and this color is the second one. And I'm using White Sands.
From Artfil?
By Artfil. I don't know if you can.
Bell? No, we're in...
Bell. Yeah. So I use the Bell, but she also has Solo. So you see I'm mixing single ply and plied, which is not a problem. Then I combine... I still use the White Sands with a darker one. This was called Johnny, but she's reformulated in another color. So it's basically a dark charcoal, like black almost. So that's mixing that with the White Sands. Then this one was Jardin des Tuileries, but now it's become Romance.
Right.
So it's a Julie Asselin Fino. And
Which
then
is similar.
That's Brume. Yeah, it's similar.
Not quite the same, but similar.
Exactly. So we're going to make kits for this one, for this colorway. So it'll be a little bit different, but you'll still get the same effect. Then this is Brume. This is the Johnny. And then I'm going back for this. Now, I just don't know what color.
It reminds me of all sorts licorice.
Oh, yeah. Got to put some yellow in there. So, and then there's a little scallop border, which I don't know what color it is. So
it ends like this?
Yes, it ends like that, and I don't know
which
color it is.
Is it longer? Is it a bigger?
No, it's exactly the same. So there's thick stripes that I'm going to do with this. So this is super easy, super fun. You can't wait to get to the next
And this is another one where you're not bored, right?
You're not bored.
Because it keeps changing.
And so some eyelets, and then you're like, okay, some striping, some stockinette.
I know Sandy of Sandy by the Lakeside, she knit this one as well. That. It was really pretty, and she said it was her favorite thing she ever knit.
It's really fun.
She loves it.
And I can knit it very
process
socially.
of knitting, and I think also just wearing it.
Yeah.
Right?
So we're going to do kits for that as soon as I finish it. And I'm going to kit that up. So if you like this colorway, you can do that. And I'm using metal needles. And I had mentioned on Instagram, I'm not getting electric shocks, but my hand is getting tired. So I have still some little reactions, but that won't stop me from knitting with the metal.
I wonder if it's just getting used to, getting tired from getting used to it again.
So I have one project on wood, and then I have one project on metal, just to give me a little break. So I'm motoring along. I did not stay up all night to finish it, because I
thought that you're a little too far away. You can only do that when the end is sort of in sight,
when
right?
you know it's there.
Okay. All right. So I think the last one that we have to.
Oh, that's yours. Then
you're doing the okay. Oh, the last one I have to talk about anyway,
which is a design.
Is a new design. I'm trying my hand at my first
sweater. That's real big potatoes, Melissa.
Well, I don't know. We'll see how it works. I have to say, I have tried it on. I love it. I'm using the Luft, the Woolfolk Luft, and what I wanted was to just do a sweater that was super easy and friendly for the beginner knitter. So it's top down, and there's no seaming, there's no picking up stitches. So this is knit top down. I have a what is it called? My twisted rib. Okay. Twisted rib, and then I switch to larger needles, and I just do my increases on my raglans. So it's a simple.
But it's a long raglan, eh?
It's a long raglan. So I wanted kind of like
the Hayward,
a bit of a dolman. It's not quite as low as the Hayward, but
the same idea.
Yes, very, very much the same idea. The sleeves are a little bit wider than the Hayward, so it feels a little bit more sweaterish as a result. And then I just went down to a super small cuff, which I like. So it just, it gives it.
And your split hem too.
And I split hem. So
It's funny because Melissa has this sweater that she bought that I really like, but it has zippers.
Oh yeah,
and that's kind of what you modeled it on.
A little bit in terms of the width, like the width and the shape. Yeah.
And I like the twisted rib that you did it down here as well.
Yeah.
It kind of gives a nice texture, that twisted rib.
So I'll do a twisted rib. So that's where I am. I just have to finish the bottom hem of the back, and it will be longer than the front. So it'll be a bit asymmetrical that way, and then I'll just finish off the sleeve. And then I know nothing about sizing or...
We got people for that.
Yeah, so we're going to be handing that off to either Mona or Stephanie. They don't know yet. They don't know it yet. But I think it's the kind of thing...
I just knit this for me because
yes,
it fits
I did it to my proportions. So I think what we'll do is sort of like an extra small, medium large, and extra large.
Yeah.
Like just 3 sizes, because it's not the kind of sweater that needs to be fitted in any way or...
Yeah, that's what we said, 3 sizes, maybe 4, but we think 3 is what we've settled on.
Maybe small, medium large, extra large or something, right?
Yeah.
So stay tuned.
Stay tuned.
Finished object, hopefully on the next podcast.
Yeah, for sure.
It's kind of early. I mean, I don't...
You're getting a head start.
Yeah.
Because you have to grade. It's only for the fall, but you have to grade it, do the pattern. There's a lot of stuff.
And maybe even do a store sample, because I think I will be keeping this one.
And when we, when we do we're getting into test knitting now, right?
Right.
So the thing is, like, we knit it, we write the pattern up, then we have to have someone test knit it,
and
proof
maybe we
it.
should start having our tech editing.
Oh, we've been talking about that for a long time.
Yeah.
Then we have to get it translated. Then Melissa takes all the photos. Then we have to format it. So, getting a pattern out takes a while. So we're lucky because we have different people who help us out in different steps.
Yeah.
But because we're in Quebec, we have the added element of translated, and we like that too. We find it's really important to do that. So, anyways, so we have two really great translators who are knitters.
Yes.
And that's what's fun.
We're lucky.
So, okay, so this is yarn that we don't carry, Sport Weight by La Bien-Aimée. And I had talked about this on a previous podcast. I had bought, it's 4 colors.
Right.
So I had bought 4 colors at Edinburgh. And then I got home and I knit a whole sleeve with the...
Yeah, you knit, because we showed it on the last podcast,
we showed it.
Actually.
So it was Amy's sweater was the third one. And then... When I knit it, I'm like, oh, it's not the effect of the sweater.
Was that what it's called? Amy's sweater was the name of the color?
I love the color. It's more gray. It's darker gray, and it has some bright greens and pinks in it and oranges. So I didn't think I would like pop grunge.
I don't know why. It's so beautiful.
Well, because it reminded me of the 80s when I used to wear fluorescent socks.
I think
with,
the name threw you off.
Yeah, so I was like, but then I really liked the way the sweater looked, but I changed it up.
Right.
So then I knit up the thing, and I'm like, oh, it's just... why didn't I just listen to the person who put the sweater kit together in the first place? Like, obviously they know better than me.
No, not necessarily.
Not necessarily, but I'm like, so then I was like having buyer's remorse, and so then
So she knit the whole thing.
Before I tried to find pop grunge sport weight.
Somewhere.
I even said to Annarella, I go, can you find it? She goes, well, there's people on Ravelry who have it in their stash that say not for sale.
No one's willing to give it up.
But could you just contact me? She refused.
I'll pay double.
So anyway, so I couldn't find it, and then we're doing a pop-up shop with La Bien-Aimée. So then I'm like, oh, do you think I could like squeeze in? So I was so grateful that Amy squeezed in 3 skeins of pop grunge and sport weight for me. And it changes the look of the sweater completely.
Yeah, so I don't know if people will have seen it in our last podcast.
I mean,
it may not be so obvious to people unless they know what they're looking for.
Well, I think if you saw the 2 pictures side by side.
Yeah, maybe. This one just has a lot more gray,
and then you finish with this. What I found she did in her selection of colors is she was very gradual in her change. It wasn't an obvious shift.
So you don't get that striping effect.
You don't get a striping. It kind of not so obvious that you're even using 4 different colors. So I think that's what I was looking for. And when I used the Aimée sweater, it was too much of a sharp.
You see the sharp change.
So I'm knitting this up. I'm completely aware we do not carry anything similar in the store. However, we are and unfortunately, Aimée doesn't wholesale or sport weight yarn yet. So we're trying to work on finding substitutes to make a few kits, because I have to say it is a fun knit. I'm having so much fun.
I think Artfill will work for this in the Bell
Artfill Bell.
Yeah.
And that's so we have to just talk to Yana about getting...
Because it is a sport weight yarn, and Bell is a heavy fingering, and I think...
It's a 26 stitch gauge.
Yeah, so I think the Bell would be perfect.
So we just need to work on colors, to see what colors would go together. So it's on our list of things to do. And I wanted to show you my little gadget.
Yeah, because it does have a little cable, so Lisa's been using her little coconuts.
And
and it's a reverse stockinette, right?
Yeah. Which is if you're not used to that. So I have my little thing here. It's like my little gadgets. Look at that. So what I've been using, because Coco Knits had a needle, but it was too thin and it kept slipping out. So we found these fantastic metal cable needles. So it's by Knitter's Pride, but it was the Nancy from Nancy's Knickknacks who created it in collaboration. So there's different sizes. There's this one, there's the J, and then there's the straight one. And they're all different sizes. Like this one is a 3.5. The J is... oh my goodness, the bar. Okay, it's 2. So this one here,
this is a 3 millimeter.
It's called the center scoop. It's a 2.5 millimeter. That's a 3 millimeter, and this is a 3.5.
Yeah.
So and these are metal, but what I like about it, it's not a shiny metal.
Yeah.
So it has a bit of
It's not.
It has a bit of a grip.
Yeah.
So it's much easier. The Coco Knits one would slide right out. However,
she is developing her new ones, which are great because they're bamboo with a little metal joint in the middle. So they're perfect. So they don't slip.
No,
but they do stick to the knitter's keep.
So this is called knitter's keep. So I have my gauge ruler. I mean, I look like a total nerd, but I have to say, it's like you do your thing.
Don't look like a nerd. You look cool to the knitters. Right.
My son actually wanted one.
Yeah, of course.
I don't know where you're getting one.
Well, actually, I think that's interesting because these used to be sold by Coco Knits in a whole. It was called the Knitter's Keep, and it included all the tools in addition to the slap bracelet as well. And now she's marketing them or selling them a little bit differently because people were buying them in different leisure activities,
embroidery,
right? So
sewing.
Embroidery, but also fishing. Fly fishermen were wanting them for their flies.
C'est super.
Right? So now they can buy it without having to buy all of the knitting notions. Exactly.
So I mean, this is like, obviously it's nothing you need, but it's totally fun.
Hey, so that's a good suggestion for Father's Day.
Who knew?
Yeah. So if you have a fisherman in the family, it's good for their tackle.
There certainly is. I'm just like, I feel like I've been talking too much. I don't know, Melissa. What do you think? Because we have this here.
Oh yeah. Okay. So this is.
We've talked about this before, but what we've decided to do. Go ahead.
Well, so what we've decided to do is start sort of simplifying the purchase of koigu for people, right? So,
you know, the kit thing. We're very slow to the game, but now we get it.
Yes, and people do like some assistance with choosing colors and things that go together, and it's hard to purchase koigu as individual skeins and you know, wonder if they're all going to work and go together. And so we have quite a few samples in the store that use multiple skeins of koigu. Yeah. And so we thought we would put together kits that allow you, you know, that we've sort of pre-selected as things that work together, allow you to just enhance your stash or work up various projects that might be 5 skein projects.
And also we've packaged them, and you get a little discount when you buy all 5 of them.
I think if you buy 5 together, you get 15% off if you were included.
Because when we were first opening the store, we're just like, well, you just stand in front of the wall and you pick stuff. But then online, that doesn't work.
No,
and it's
exactly.
We have so many colors that on your screen, it's hard to see.
It's really hard to see, and we don't have the kind of thing on our website where I've seen on others where you can actually drag and drop.
That's
swatches,
cool, eh?
And you can sort of see them side by side. Yeah, I've seen that for fabric.
So I love this pattern, but you know, it's been on my needle for like a couple of years now. Okay,
but it's so great.
It's called the Knitted Patchwork Recipe by Martine Ellis, and you know what? Every color goes together.
Yeah, there's no. Oops, I'm sorry.
No. I love this. So I'm gonna go until I really can't go anymore. So it's actually the size of a baby blanket. I could stop, but I'm having too much fun. I just, you know.
It's so good.
It's really fun.
So
it's
good.
like a cabin. It
is. It just makes me happy looking at it. Yeah.
Like I would never wear those colors, but I could look at them.
The ends.
Oh yeah, Melissa.
Come on, you have to show the dirty underbelly leaves.
Look at that. If I was Stephen West, I wouldn't.
I would just leave them.
It's like an effect. It's like Animal from the Muppets. I started though. I think I already talked about that too.
Some of them.
See, I started. Yeah. Because my thing was, I said every time I finish a perfect square, I'm going to sew in all the ends, and then I'm like, it's more fun to knit.
I think you should just leave it
ends.
at the store and have people do it when
it's slow. Actually,
I mean, there got to be perks, Lise, for having a yarn
There
shop.
have to be perks. So, and some people actually like that.
Yeah. So, I mean, you know, it's if you're working on something like this, we also had the Carlisle scarf we did,
and a baby blanket I designed.
A baby blanket called the We Heart Koigu baby blanket, and then also the Melody shawl, which I had knit, which was a great one because it was 5 skeins, and it was a huge scarf knit in the round that. The way you knit it, you kind of steek it after, and you have these instant fringes.
Fringe. Yeah, that's true.
So all of these projects are
fun with Koigu.
Yeah, they're fun with Koigu, but they're also all on our Ravelry project page. So if you want to just go to our project page and type in Koigu, you'll see everything that we've knit with it, and it might give you some ideas.
And we call these Koigu bundles?
Koigu bundles. Take 5 bundles. We call them.
Take 5.
Yeah.
So creative.
Oh, yeah. We really thought it long and hard on that one.
Those are pretty much the 3 that I have on the needles now. So I'm really happy.
Well, I only have 1, so I'm going to add 2.
Yeah. Then as soon as I finish one, I'm starting a linen one. That's my
Okay,
my,
I think I'm
maybe
gonna.
my new
Yeah, I
design.
think I'm gonna do some. We have some beautiful rustic yarns coming
Oh
in
my
for the
God,
fall,
we're just
and I'm
itching
really
to get
itching to
going.
start knitting with them. So we have some Raabe yarn, the phenol yarn coming, the lamb's wool,
Lamb's wool,
and the strick. So the three ply is the DK weight, and I think I'm going to do the Caitlin Hunter Tecumseh.
Yes.
In that.
Oh,
So-
and I'm doing the Sepilia by her.
Sepilia, yeah. Sepila or Sepilia? By Caitlin Hunter as well,
And
right?
I think I'm doing it in the fingering weight. I think.
Of the Rama? So the phenol garn.
Yeah, I think I'm doing it in the phenol garn. I can't remember.
That's what we had.
Yeah, we ordered that. We special ordered the colors for us to get started.
Yeah.
So we'll leave that. So we can talk about Piri actually, because that's a new yarn we just got in.
Okay, so we're moving on to new products, you guys. New products, new sample.
Infomercial part 2.
Yeah. There, we do have a new sample in Piri already.
Look at that. Françoise knit this up in a flash.
I know. So
it's kind of like a cool, it's a cool hat. This you could wear like.
It's so good.
It is.
It's really good. I think there's slight modification where you can make it a tiny bit longer.
Okay.
And I don't think it takes more, that much more yarn. Like there's still enough in the 2 skeins. I mean, this barely used juice.
You know what? I just want to make a comment because it's kind of like summer now and this is a wool hat.
Yeah.
But Gianluca has this neck warmer that he uses as a headband. And he has 2. He has one that's synthetic and he has one that's wool.
Yeah.
So he says to me, Mommy, it's funny. The gray one I have, it doesn't smell. I can wear it a long time.
Yeah, it's a wool one,
and it's
right?
not hot. And it's the wool one. He goes, but the other one, I wear it once and I have to wash it.
Yeah.
I said, well, that's the property of wool.
Yes.
That wool doesn't maintain bacteria or odor, and you breathe. So it's the summer. It's hot. He's playing soccer, and he's wearing his wool headband.
Perfect.
So
there you
a
go.
plug for
Just
wool
goes to show
all
you.
year round.
So,
Okay,
Piri, so if you were not living under a rock, then you would have seen on May 30th, Brooklyn Tweed launched a new yarn. It's called Piri. It's a fingering weight yarn. Again, all American wool, American merino, and this one is a worsted spun. So Loft, if you're familiar with Loft, it's a woolen spun, and this is a worsted spun yarn. So it has completely different look and feel to it. And
it has like a springy, squishy.
It's very springy, very squishy, and because it is merino, it is extremely soft. I think the micron count is 20.5. Which, if you know anything about micron counts at all, will tell you that it's very soft.
And it's and it's not superwash. So we're used to a lot of our merinos being superwash. So it's really nice to have a merino that you still feel the structure of the wool. You feel the structure,
and it still has a bit of toothiness to it. Not in any way scratchy. It is really, really soft, but it is toothiness, which still makes it really suitable for color work.
And it doesn't stretch out, because sometimes with the merino superwash you have to be careful because it stretches out. This maintains its structure.
Yeah.
And what's really nice about Brooklyn Tweed is they tell you like where they source it from. So this is like, sourced, let me just see, I don't know, where's the, so there we go. So it says sourced in Utah, Nevada, spun in Springvale, Maine, and dyed in Saco, Maine. So for us it's kind of nice because Saco is very close. We go camping in that area.
And gorgeous colorways, you guys. 45 colors. I think that's the most colorways they've ever
And they have bright colors. The colors
launch.
are a little brighter in this line.
And so they did it. They produced this one specifically for color work and for fine gauge projects in color work. So they really have an incredible palette.
Yes.
Of colorways. So you won't. I don't feel like there's colors missing.
No. And just a heads up, this winter, it's all about color work.
You heard it here first.
We are the Oracle. So get your color work. So those of you who haven't tried color work, we teased you a little bit with the Lopi last year.
Yes, but we're going all in this year.
We're going lace, fingering, DK, worsted, bulky.
Color work.
Color work in every gauge. 2 colors, 3 colors, 4 colors. Rustic.
Yeah.
So
we're doing it.
We're doing it. So
I mean, and that's what I'm itching to get on my needles.
I know.
That's the stuff I'm itching to get on my needles.
But it's summer. It's summer.
You wouldn't know it. It's 11 degrees.
That's why I'm wearing my hat, 11 degrees.
Exactly.
It's so funny because it's like when you're a knitter, you just like you want to do everything.
You want to do everything.
Crazy. It's sad.
There just aren't enough hours in the day, and there's just too many other.
We got to quit our jobs
on my time. Exactly.
I said to Melissa the other day, we were in the store. She was on one computer. I'm on my laptop. I said, we run a yarn store and most of our work is spent on a computer.
Yeah.
I'm like, there's something wrong with this world.
Yeah.
Because we opened a store because we wanted to knit, because we love knitting.
Yeah, but that's like so naive.
So naive. It's like, right? Don't open a knit store if you want to knit.
No.
Just use it as your hobby.
Well, we do knit, but we just don't have the knitting time that we thought we would. We would have a lot more knitting time if we weren't running a store. Put it that way. Even if we were just working a regular 9 to 5 job,
we'd have a lot more time.
We'd have a lot more knitting time.
Because then it's like you carve out time.
Yeah.
But, though, we do get access to all these beautiful yarns.
Yeah, so
we shop in our own
complaining.
store. We're not complaining. But it's just like, who knew there was so much computer work running?
Who knew there was so much work involved? Let's put it that way. Who knew?
Well, we thought we were going to be ladies of leisure.
Oh, yeah, just knitting on the sofa.
Knitting on our sofa, which we don't have anymore.
No.
Okay, so that's the Piri.
So that's the Piri, and I'm excited to knit with that one as well. So I think so far the only sample we had is the Lucerne hat. What's nice about this one is that Brooklyn Tweed has decided to make this pattern free for anyone who purchases Piri between now and June 30th. So if you're interested in the pattern, when you make a purchase either in store or online, just let us know and we can include a Ravelry code for the download.
Yes.
Okay.
That's great. So now we have some products and gadgets. So you might notice I'm wearing this lovely necklace.
Oh, is it? Oh, okay, I thought it got stuck.
Nope. So, do you want to talk about this?
Yeah, so we met with a supplier, was it last a couple weeks ago now, and she was showing us, they're being distributed by Never Not Knitting and NK, and they're these beautiful necklaces for stitch markers by a company called Wool and Wire.
This is another.
And there were a couple of shapes, so we liked these two. I think there were 3 or 4 different shapes.
We really
love these two. And so they come with a single stitch marker on them. But then you can actually purchase individual groups of stitch markers.
And they have smaller and larger. So I think we both have the small one.
So on the larger ones, you get 3.
This one is, it says it's handcrafted from copper core wire, dipped in 0.999 pure silver with genuine freshwater pearls and faceted crystals, hypoallergenic. So it's really like it's a high-end, well, I'm showing this, there's nothing on.
It's a high-end product.
It's a high-end product. And we like the cords, and what's really fun.
We had the option of a silver cord or the leather cord, and I just love the look of the leather.
Yeah, we like, it's kind of like the little bit of rustic with a little bit of, classy, elegant.
Yeah, because unless it's a really, really high-end silver cord, it just...
Yeah, it doesn't have the same look. We felt this had a nice... And look at this. It's like adjustable. It's 36 inches, and you can just pull it and make it short, or you can pull it this way and make it longer, and then you can cut your cords.
And then you can cut your cord and make your knots once you have the length you like.
So and you can keep them a little bit longer, so you have un peu de jeu. You can play with it a bit. And it's funny. My neighbor Annie works for us. She helps Stephanie in the morning stock shells a few days a week, and she's not she's starting.
Is she starting to knit?
She's starting, and she's like, I can't believe you girls. Like, where do you find these things? She goes, knitters, it's non-stop.
What I will say about the stitch markers, though, is that we didn't realize
and the
that
necklaces too.
And the necklaces too. They come with different colored stitch markers.
Yeah.
But with no and different shapes. Yeah, with no rhyme or reason. So you're not going to.
So mine is here versus this one
comes with that color. So we are going to add these to our website, but we're just going to have small and large, and we're going to have the 2 shapes.
Yeah.
But we're not going to start
because we don't have enough. We have too many different ones.
We have one-offs of everything, right? So they all come with a slightly different marker, so we can't sort of take pictures of every single one and then have all of those individually on the website. So I think what we'll do is we'll just say, choose your size or choose your shape, and you will receive whichever one you're meant to receive.
Exactly. Sometimes we just it's a lesson in letting go, because at first we were very surprised, and then we're like, sometimes knitters, we just gotta relax.
Just relax and just know that whatever you get is what you're meant to get.
Yeah.
Whatever color.
We're speaking from
we will sense it through the order.
Yes, we'll be like, what? We'll touch the order.
Yes.
I think this is the one for
amber.
that person.
Yes.
But they are beautiful.
They are gorgeous. And
super quality.
There's no color that isn't stunning. So I really think that no one will be disappointed.
No. And you know what? You won't even know what other ones are there.
Exactly.
So you'll think that's the one you were supposed to get. And this is, like we said, it's an NK press that distributes them, but the company is called
Woolen Wire.
Woolen Wire.
And then we were so
excited. So we met with one of our reps, and she reps different lines of yarn, and then she showed us all these little gadgets.
we thought we were done. We ordered all the yarn, and then she's like, "Oh, I wonder if you guys will be interested in these." So these are also from NNK, but these are produced by Firefly Notes. So they're by Firefly Notes for NNK press. So these are a sweet little enamel pin, and then we don't have a lot of stuff for the crocheters, but there's a crochet enamel pin.
Now that I'm a crocheter.
You are?
I crochet
baskets. Oh, yeah, you did the baskets. I'm like, wait, what?
What? Did I miss something? That's all I know how to crochet. Okay, and then...
Okay, so that's also from Firefly.
Yeah, so Melissa and I had seen these on Etsy a while back, and we had toyed with the idea of bringing them in, and then Catherine showed them to us. So, okay, I'm sorry, but that's, just too cute, because we always need another box.
They're beautifully finished. So you have this picture, and then it's beautifully finished with resin on top. So it's
Melissa and I really... Yeah. I mean, some of the stuff we carry is a little more pricey, but we really like the quality. On tient à la qualité, a nice... it's not like a cheapo thing.
No, not at all. It's
super nice.
Oops, there you go.
Super nice quality. Sorry, there's people at the door, so we're a little distracted. Yeah. And then inside you have some of your tools. You have stitch markers, you have darning needle, and you have some
And the bottom
T-pins.
of the box is magnetized, which is nice.
So you can put your little scissors in there, all kinds of little guys. So it's like a little notions tin that could fit inside your notions pouch, or it could be standalone, or it could be used just for travel.
There you go.
So those are super cute, super nice quality.
Okay, so Catherine also distributes Kelburn Woolen, so we were placing our order with her for some new yarns from Kelburn and for BC Garn. But Kelburn has started making enamel pins, you guys, and I love this one. I thought this was great for anyone who is outdoorsy and into camping, and it's perfect timing.
One thing I will tell you though, if you're a camper and a knitter, that your knitting smells like campfire.
I like that.
So just as a little heads up, when you get home, you're like, where does that smell? So you definitely need to wash your wools after.
And then we thought these were great. All our staff have been wearing these when they're working in the store. I think they're great. You better swatch, you guys. Now, you better swatch. Doesn't necessarily mean we all do. However,
you sometimes you can let go and you don't have to swatch, but you have when you have to swatch, you should swatch.
Yes, you better swatch.
You better swatch.
Okay, another thing that came in this week.
Fun.
Our wrist rulers in new colors. Here, you want to model the
gold?
Oh, I've been wearing mine the whole episode.
Because I'm Italian,
noticed.
So
we like their gold.
We like our gold. Us Italian girls.
So they're the wrist rulers in gold and silver. So I did tease on Instagram the other day that we were getting wrist rulers in metallic hot pink, and
they call it copper penny.
And the copper penny, which
like rose gold.
Yeah, well, it really does look like a copper penny, doesn't it?
Yeah, we had asked for rose gold, but that was the closest.
Yeah, and I love them. So those are on their way. But in the meantime, we had also placed an order for the silver and gold wrist rulers.
I can't with my wrist, Melissa.
Oh,
I can't do it. It's just my wrist.
Let me there we go.
So how fun is that?
There we go. Aren't they pretty? And I actually would wear both of them together.
Yeah, I'm waiting for the pink one to come in. I'm going to have a whole bunch.
I know. Now, I know that Chelsea Yarns in the States also carries these. So if you're in the States and you prefer to order from within the U.S.,
you carry them.
I don't know if she has any in stock at the moment, but I know that she was waiting for some. So, but if you're in Canada and you want some...
And they come in 3 sizes?
Yeah, 15, 16, and 17 inch.
Yes.
And we have lots in stock at the moment. So those are in.
Get them while they're hot.
Yeah. I just think they're the perfect summer accessory.
They are. They're so much fun. So much fun. Okay.
They did a good job with this metallic.
Yeah, I found that it came out really well. And I mean, I was shoe shopping yesterday, and it's all about the metallic. Gold, silver, rose gold, pearly gold, pearly silver, everything. It's all about the metallic. So we've got our books and our Selbu blockers. How lucky are we to have those?
Okay, so...
Let's do the Selbu blockers, and then we can do our books.
So I talked about the Selbu mitten blockers. Oops, there you go.
Okay.
These are from... Okay, you guys.
just appreciate the handicraft.
Appreciate the beauty of these.
The craftsmanship.
So these are from Patricia Fortune of Knitography, the Knitography podcast. And Patricia is an expat American who lives in Norway and has a dream of bringing her sheep. She has her sheep at a co-op farm not far from where she lives, but she's really dreaming of bringing her sheep to her own farm. And so she's actually a teacher. I think she teaches first grade.
Yeah, first grade.
But she's really been working towards her dream of bringing her sheep home, as she says. And so she started to produce these beautiful mitten and sock blockers this year, and she has them made with wood that actually from trees that actually grow on her property. And so they
smell amazing. They smell like a campfire. Like there's this woodsy,
but fresh wood.
Fresh wood.
Well, also because they have also they've been beautifully sanded, so they're smooth. They're not going to catch on your knitting. They're that sort of traditional Norwegian motif. Yeah. And it's so nice. If you follow her on Instagram, you can always, she has pictures of going out into the forest and working on her wholesale orders. So she just sits there and sands these, and she sells each one of them with a beautiful pot of lavender scented beeswax, which is also produced by her or with a neighboring farm. And so they're all rubbed down before they come. Yeah, and then with each purchase, you do get a little pot of that as well, so that as you're, because they are wood, they are natural wood, and so they will get drier the more you use them, and with time. So it is a good idea every once in a while, if you feel like you get a little bit of a rough edge, or that you notice that they're getting a little dry or cracked, then you definitely want to condition them regularly with your beeswax. I think she calls it bee butter.
And I mean, they're just, if you're a person who has an office or an atelier, just beautiful to hang them up.
Oh, yes, I
and
have them hanging
them,
in my studio, actually.
It's just being a knitter and working with these beautiful handmade tools and supporting artists and artisans who are making their living out of making beautiful products. So I think it's really nice. There's something to be said about who made these and where they come from, and they come from the land, and they're made with love. Like, she puts so much love into her products.
It's just so beautiful dealing with her, actually. She's just a lovely spirit. And so we have the mitten and sock blockers in small, medium, and large. So we're so happy to receive those.
We certainly are.
And to be wholesale.
She was quick.
I'm glad that she was willing to wholesale them, because I know she was selling them in herself at first. But
we always do that. We find amazing things. And we're like, please, can you wholesale? We want them in our shop. We want to share them. And then we just have a few publications. Some are new and some are restocked. So this is the Stash Bot by Hannah Fettig, and this is one that we refer to a lot, and it's really fantastic. She just gives you an idea of like how much yarn you need for sweaters or vests for all ages, men, women, children, babies. It's really great. So she has a whole sweater, then she has hats, socks, mittens. It's really a cute reference guide.
Yeah, so she calls it a comprehensive guide to building a useful stash. Yeah. So it's just a good thing to have when, because everybody likes to buy yarn and 1, 2, 3 skeins. So it just helps you decide, how much, you fall in love with a yarn, how much should you get just to know that you have enough if you don't have a specific pattern that you're buying for.
We used this when we went to Edinburgh Festival, because we were like, okay, we wanted to knit a sweater, but we didn't have a pattern. So it's like referring to Stash Bot, we're like, oh, okay, this is how much we need. So we made sure we had enough.
Yeah. And then what else do we have? Some magazines, right? So we have
we have the pom-pom. Which is the
latest
issue 25, and really lots of great patterns. Melissa and I were like, oh, we'd make everything.
Yeah, so the focus in this one is on stripes.
And it has a bag similar to what Melissa just made, the Japanese tote.
Yeah, so actually I thought that was really great. So
handles.
Yeah, so actually it was, I hadn't even thought about making that kind of bag, so I was just trying to find it without putting handles on it, but that's what they do here. So they do the similar rectangle, and then they show you how to fold it, and then they just tie it. And it's like a little summer project bag.
And exactly, because the Japanese, that's a lot.
Yes, that's exactly. They don't usually use a lot of hardware, right? So so that's one of the projects
new ones
in
that
here.
Just came in.
This one looks a little bit like the banana leaf shawlette or shawl, and this one actually has been very popular on Ravelry. I've seen that one favorited a lot. And it has very interesting back. Again, it's
Very
one of those
cool.
ones where you want a pretty bra to show the back. A bralette, is that what you said?
Yes, it's called the bralette.
And we just had our second delivery of, or second or third already of line-in.
Yes.
I think we ordered 40 and they
Yes.
flew out within a day or two. And so we just got another batch. So those have been restocked as well. And Pom Pom was restocked. We had ordered that and that one just came
And
in.
this one is actually, for those of you who remember, the larch that I knit from Pam Allen. I did it in
Shelter?
Shelter. So this is the book it comes from. It's called Plain and Simple. So I actually bought the ebook before the book was available. But the actual book is not much more expensive than the ebook. And
Isn't that amazing?
It's amazing. So at first we were like, oh, well, you can get it as an ebook. But I mean, imagine printing all this out.
Right?
And it's not obvious, and also because of the formatting, it's a bit more awkward to print.
Yeah.
And the book is beautiful.
It's so beautiful.
And Gianluca's teacher, I showed it to her. She goes, "I want to knit every sweater in that book." So it's a beautiful book to have as a reference. You know, some
it's just
knitting
like
books.
a coffee table.
It is some knitting books you just want to look at, and they're beautiful. So
So most of the patterns, if not all of the patterns, call for Quince and Co. Owl. But so easily substituted for
Yes.
other worsted
with
weight
other
yarns.
yeah, exactly. I'm just trying to see. I think this is my larch that I did.
And they're all designed by Pam Allen. Did you say that already?
I don't know if I said
Okay.
that, but I said the larch was. Yeah, there was my larch that I did. Yeah. So that's a beautiful book that we stocked.
Okay, and I think the last new one that came in is this knit and sew uniform, which is so great. I really wanted to get into some sewing this summer. I used to sew, and haven't done it since we opened the store. But there's so many linen tunics.
You haven't sewed since you helped me with that knitting bag.
Exactly. But I used to sew my clothes in high school. I used to make.
You should see the first when I met you. You had your machine, you had your table, you had all your fabrics. Remember, you had like a shelf with all your beautiful fabrics.
But that all got put away when we opened the store.
Yeah.
But this one is just such a great collaboration between Carrie Bostic Hogue and what is her name from Grainline Studio, Jen Beeman, is it?
Oh, and there's patterns here in the back, Amos.
Yeah, that's it. They're included.
I know nothing about sewing.
Yes, Jen Beeman,
Nothing.
owner of Grainline Studio. So it's Carrie Bostic Hogue and Jen Beeman. And so they've collaborated to produce a beautiful book of sewing and knitting patterns. So
I mean, a lot of sewers, a lot of knitters are also sewers,
there's
and I'm
so
so
much
envious.
of that cross.
Because you can make beautiful tunics and then knit sweaters to like layer.
You guys, look.
I know.
So you have a beautiful, tunics, linen tunics, and then you have the sweater that you can pair.
That's a real
right?
summer wardrobe, Melissa.
I know, or certainly summer going to, and then so you've got short sleeve, long sleeve, all kinds of variations on the tunics, and then you've got all kinds of variations on the sweaters.
And then in the back they have the actual sewing patterns.
Yeah, so
for
all
you.
your patterns are
isn't that?
included at the back. You pop them out. And there you go. So it's basically a cardigan pattern and a tunic pattern with lots of variations on each, so that you can make several.
So we and I think the last thing is we have cocoa. We restock cocoa knit. So we were
Did we
out for
bring
quite a
anything?
long time. No, but it's like
Okay.
stitch markers and row counters and all that.
Well, some new stuff too. There was something new that I hadn't seen. Oh, T-pins in tins.
T-pins.
Yeah.
So we've got. You can check out our website.
Yeah,
we have
those
all
are all
new,
there.
and then hopefully we'll be getting as soon as the cable needles are stocked. They're going to be sending them our way. So we'll have all of that. So lots. We're happy because we got all kinds of new stuff this week that we were able to show you and share.
It's always fun when it's like Christmas every time we
know.
get a delivery, right? It's still, it doesn't get old.
Never.
It doesn't get old, but it also just makes us feel like, oh my God, we want to knit all the things.
Exactly, stuff to do. And we just wanted to, just before we closed off, we wanted to sort of remind everybody as we're going, for those of you who live in cold weather climates that are moving into summertime, just to take that little bit of time to wash your wools, because in order to help you avoid moths in your knitting and keep things fresh, it's really good to wash all your wools at the end of the season using Eucalan.
Not your unknit wools.
No, your
It sounded
your
unknit.
garments.
Your garments.
Yeah, go through your whole stash and wash everything. No, all your garments, because the oils from your skin and your body, and they get into the garments, and moths like that.
Yes.
They like that human odor and the human scent. So it's really important just to wash them fresh, let them all dry, and then stack them.
Put them away, and if you can, throw in some lavender balls, cedar balls,
or lavender,
maybe lavender sachets. Moths don't like those things. And then when you take them out for the fall, they're all
nice and clean and ready to go.
Ready to go, exactly.
So it's funny because I was going to do that yesterday, and then I was like, oh no, I'll do it later. Thank God, because I actually pulled out some wool today. But it's a good idea. And also, if you have balls or blocks that are cedar, it's good to refresh them. So to take some essential oils, because they end up losing their odor.
Yeah, I actually have a spray. It's
fantastic. A cedar spray or lavender spray.
Yeah.
That's actually probably
the best.
You know
what? I'd use that. I spray my stash.
Oh, that's a great idea,
because I have the baskets, and so I just keep the little spray in the top, and every couple of weeks, or maybe every couple of months more like, I'll just spray every tier.
Fantastic. There you go.
There you go.
Good little maintenance tips.
We should get some of that here.
I know. I don't know.
I think it was from the laundress.
I was just going to say, I think that's from the laundress, which we can connect with them.
Yeah.
We should do that.
Because it's good.
So take some time. I know it could be a pain, but take the day or the weekend and just do it all. And you know what's a good tip is that you can spin, if you have a top loader, front loader, I mean. What I do is I do everything at once that are the same color.
And then spin it all.
And then I spin it all, and you don't have to worry because it's not agitating it. It's going against the
So you don't have to worry about rolling everything in towels and everything to get the excess moisture out.
Yeah. And then you do it all in a batch and then lay it flat to dry. Yeah. So take care of those wools.
There you go. I think that's it, you guys.
We made it to the end. So that's it. So happy knitting and happy linen and cotton knitting and wool washing and all that good stuff.
Yes. So thanks for watching.
Yeah. We'll see you next time.
We'll see you next time.
Ciao, ciao.
Bye-bye.
Bye.